Hey guys, let's talk about what is the best finish for the forehand in tennis. I'm gonna dive in and explain each of the finishes and why one is better than others. There's many confusion around what a follow-through means and which one should I do. You see different variations on players, so let's dive into it. So first we have the over-the-shoulder finish, which is completely over the shoulder, which is more of an old-fashioned finish. Back in the day, all the players used to just make contact and follow through up here. That was the common thing to do. That was almost the right thing to do back in the day. And now you still see it, but you see it less. The next one, it's on the shoulder, finishing on the shoulder right here. You can, some people either catch the racket here or some people don't catch it. Still the arm is somewhere up here, the same level of the body. And some other players finish even lower, right here by the forearm, down here. Sometimes they don't even catch it, but it's quite a low finish. So which one is better, which one is worse? Why do some players do different finishes, and why also do I see same player doing different finishes? So the answer is that they are all good finishes. So why do players use different ones? Number one, it depends on the grip you're using, right? So if you're using an Eastern grip, which means your racket is a little bit more open, right? Sometimes you may need to just close a little bit more here, and the finish may be a little bit lower than if you have a different grip. So if you have an Eastern grip, you really need to cover that ball, and maybe it won't be as easy to finish up here. Okay, it depends. So it depends on the grip. I mean, if you have a semi-Western, you kind of can do any finish because it's not as hard if you have a semi-Western grip. And if you have a Western, again, you can do all finishes as well, but most likely will be easier to finish on the shoulder, because just if you're finishing all the way on the shoulder with that grip that's more close, it's just going to be lifting up quite quickly and not going through the ball as much. So probably best to finish on the shoulder. Now there are some players that have a huge acceleration sometimes, and they can't control the shot. I've had juniors that they have a really loose wrist and they're just getting so much power. So sometimes the only way they can control that power is just by getting that finish a little bit lower. That way the ball is dropping on the other side of the court every time. Sometimes they just can't control the longer finish and they're just going to finish lower here to make sure that they can speed up fully and keep using their whole power, their whole ability, but still the ball is going in every time, right? Some of the players you see Medvedev finishing all the way up here. He hits also more of a flatter shot. So it's just, a little bit easier to kind of hit flat and come up here and just kind of like old-fashioned, the guide the shot a little bit. If you want to get more spin, you really want to move the racket in this motion, so you may end up finishing, you could be high over the shoulder, or on the forearm, right? Now, also, you may find yourself finishing differently for different shots when you get on the court. Why? Because, for example, if I get a higher ball, I want to cover a little bit more, and I may find myself finishing around this area. Or if I am on a running shot and I'm a little bit on the defense and I hit the ball a little bit later, I'm going to find myself finishing a little bit higher. So I may find myself running and hitting up here, or even the Nadal shot, because I'm a little late and I'm on the defense, and I find myself finishing a little bit higher to make sure that I make the shot over the net. Or if I get a low ball and I need a lot of spin to make that back in, I'm going to find myself doing what I just did. Actually, I just did it unconsciously. So because you want that ball to drop and your finish may be lower, it's really difficult to make the ball land here, finish all the way up here when the ball is on the ground, because you want to get that ball to come down. So you don't want to finish all the way up here when the ball is on the ground. Okay, so it really depends on the shot. So that was the third point. And your answer is, what is the best finish? There is not a single best finish. They're all really good. They're all great for different circumstances. They're all great for different grips, and just personal preference according to your game style and what kind of what kind of abilities you have, what kind of game you want to develop. If you want to get more spin, if you hit a flatter shot, it really depends. And it's great to use them all depending on the shot you're going to hit. So don't get confused about it. All those finishes that I've mentioned are good. They're all considered a follow through. Okay, what is not considered a follow through is maybe if we're finishing here and not really using our hips. Okay, that is here is not considered a follow through. We really just want to, as long as we're moving the hips and finishing the swing, it could be lower, it could be here, it could be over the shoulder, then you have a good finish. All right, let's take a look at these finishes here. That was the low finish, especially for the low balls. Let's take a closer look here. Want to make sure that that ball lands on the other side. It goes in with the spin. So we're really trying to accelerate and cover that ball. This is the on the shoulder finish, which is the most common one. Basically, anytime that we have time and we can go through the ball, it's a great finish to have. Okay, notice here it's starting to get a little bit higher now. Let's take a look. It's a good finish over the shoulder. You just gotta make sure that you go through the ball when you finish over the shoulder and you're just not lifting up right away. See again, going through, finishing over. All right, guys, if you find this information useful, please make sure to like the video and subscribe.